Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio. Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and I'm here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. That's right, I'm not here to save any souls. I'm here to save businesses. I'm here to save jobs. I'm here to save our community. If we can do it collectively and on one accord. That's a strong mission, but it's a necessary mission because we're discovering day by day that nobody's going to save us but us. So my contribution to this effort is to inform, educate, inspire, and even provide good services to help us build our business community. With a strong economic foundation, then we can solve a plethora of ills that plague our community. And if you're going to be successful in business, you must be successful in marketing, or at least have a basic understanding of how it works. So therein lies the mission of the Marketing Pulpit Show. It's my reason for being, my raison d'etre. I don't do this just as a hobby. I actually do this by trade. This is my profession. I'm a business developer. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web, where we help companies start, grow, scale, sometimes scale down and get out of business. We help you through that business journey. That's what I do. I also teach this. I'm a professor at the local college here in Prince George's County, where I teach marketing, business development, PR, digital marketing, social media, networking, you name it. That's what I do. I've also written a couple of books on the topic. And so I'm here to share some of the information I've acquired over the years. I worked for several years as in corporate America as a buyer for national food chain. Been on boards, held titles of senior vice president, this company and that. And what I discovered during that period is that small companies, man, they're at extreme disadvantages. They are at an extreme disadvantage when compared to the wisdom and know-how and knowledge of these big companies. So I decided to try to help level the playing field by joining forces with the small businesses, and I myself as a small business owner. We can do this. We can do this, but we have to get the information. We must get the information, and that's what I do. Today we're going to talk about something that's been on my mind, and that is we're going into 2027. We're coming up on this final stretch of 2026. Got a few more years, a few more months, but I don't want to wait until 2027 to impart the information I'd like to share with you today. I'm going to ask you this question. What if in 2027 you saw a precipitous drop in your sales or your revenue? I'm not being hypothetical because that is a very likely scenario due to the impact of artificial intelligence and some of these cutbacks we've seen on government programs that have been designed to help small businesses and minority business. They've been cut back, drastically. So even if you are feeling pretty comfortable right now, you say, okay, things are going pretty well, but it takes a minute for these things to have an impact. So you don't wait until the rain start working, making sure your roof is not leaking. Sometimes you don't see it until the rain starts. But if you know there's a hole up there, don't wait till it starts raining and hailing and snowing to get up there and fix it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that, how to prepare. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not a gloomer and doomer. There are some people out here, their whole platform is about positivity and getting you riled up and jumping up and down and motivating. That's good. That's what they do. My job is to hit you in the face with a bucket of reality. Throw that bucket of cold water on you. Sometimes it has ice cubes in it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're still coming out of Black Business Month. So all the black businesses out here, you might definitely take heed to what we're about to hear today. So some of us are playing against a stacked deck, but we can't perish from lack of information. We have to get the information. So my job is to help do that. It's also National Wellness Month, so make sure you get those tests and those PSA tests for the guys out there that prostate cancer is taking its toll. All the women out there, you know what you have to do. So you can't run a business if you're not well. At least you can't do it at an optimum level. So let's take our wellness and health in stride in this month through these two observances. That's Black Business Month and National Wellness Month. Like my dad used to say as a Baptist minister, let's govern ourselves accordingly. Let's talk about a couple of items in the news before we get to our topic today about what if your sales drop drastically in 2027. Meta has there was a lawsuit filed against Meta for its, I guess, not taking enough heed with underage people, and some people feel their kids and their underage people have been harmed by the platforms, Facebook and Instagram. And so Meta has agreed, I think it was a $17 billion settlement. And some people liken it to the settlement that the cigarette industry reached several years ago, but it's not as big as the settlement for the cigarette industry. I think the tobacco industry was about $200 billion. But anyway, Meta put something on the table. This is Mark Zuckerberg. He said, why he wants that these other platforms to step up to the plate as well. He's saying, if you tell me they can only stay on Facebook and Instagram for 2 hours, what good is that if they're going to go somewhere else when that 2 hours is up? Someplace like TikTok or YouTube. So Meta said, if you can, I will gladly, I don't know if he said he was gladly, but they said they will pay the fine, but he would add another $5 billion on top of that. And he would cut the 2 hours down to 1 hour if you can get these other platforms to agree to do the same. And specifically, he's talking about TikTok and YouTube. Well, that's pretty boss move. He said, okay, don't punish me. Let's spread this hurt around and get these other platforms to participate as well. Anyway, that's going on. That's happening in the social space. Also in the AI space and cyberspace, 116 companies united for a call to stronger cyber defenses. OpenAI on Thursday published an open letter to 116 companies predicting an AI-enabled cyber attacks will become more widespread and sophisticated over the next several months. Man, oh man, oh man. This AI. What genie have we let out of the bottle? Now, you guys this is what's interesting about this. The people that have created AI are the ones that's doing all the warning. These big tech moguls. Remember Musk a couple years ago, pretty much said that AI was going to pretty much be the end of the world. So, just be informed. This also ties into our topic today, the impact of AI and the government cutbacks. There's a strong, very strong possibility that your business may take a hit in 2027. This is not a time for business as usual. So let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dig into this. Why in the world would Gatewood be sitting up here depressing people, telling them their business may not be thriving in 2027? I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is let's take some precautions so that we can survive and thrive in 2027. Somebody's got to be the bearer of this news. I can do it. I'll do it. I'm glad to be the bearer of the news that things will not be the same in 2027. The writing is on the wall. So hang on a second. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into our topic. What if your sales drop in 2027? To you business owners, listen up. We'll be back in a moment.
Hey, how'd the job search go?
Nobody's hiring. At least not me.
Then why don't you come work for me?
Really, Dad? You can hire me?
That's what business ownership is all about.
Still using your home address for your business? Protect your privacy and elevate your brand with a professional business address and mailbox service from BLE Business Services. Call 301-322-1700 or visit www.blesuites.com. BLE, where professionalism meets convenience.
All right, we're back. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. And we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. Not here to save souls. We're here to build, grow, protect businesses. And this is very important during this observance of Black History Month. But we should be taking heed every month of the year. But this particular month we're observing And I put a question out a little earlier about what if your sales drop in 2027? Well, let me tell you, most companies have a plan A. They plan on sunshine, blue skies, sales, phone's going to ring off the hook. They're going to get the best deals with dealing with their suppliers and vendors. When they need to borrow money, it's going to be available. Employees are going to behave, not take their cash registers down the street. Customers are going to spend freely and willingly. In the perfect world, those things will manifest. But when you write a business plan, a pivotal part of that business plan is what we call a contingency plan. So what if things don't go the way you plan? Some companies don't do that because they think that somehow is wishing ill will, or they call it speaking certain things into existence. I call it being smart, having a contingency plan or a backup plan. What I'm saying, if you don't have one now, this is a good time to create one as we go into 2027. Because AI is raising all kind of hell. Read about a radio station in Baltimore. They've rid themselves of all of their own air personalities. And they're going to replace them with AI. So when you go to that station now, they'll have videos running and AI reading the news. But the nice guy and lady in the nice suits, they're not going to be there anymore. And the other thing that many people don't at least acknowledge or they may minimize is the effect of what happens when a big company closes or reduces its staff. The market is being flooded now with more competition for jobs. Sometimes those companies had restaurants around them where the staff would go eat. Gas stations were pumping gas for them to get to work. Public transportation, car sales, clothing. They bought clothing to get where to work. So there's this trickle-down effect that takes a little longer for you to realize it. Okay, say, well, you lost your job, okay. So that company laid off 200 people. Well, it might take 6 months or a year for the full impact to be realized due to the lag time of trickle-down. So that's why you may not feel the pinch yet when the government lays off, cuts 300,000 black women. Or when the SBA cuts back on its contract and cancels 1,000 contracts because of some paperwork flaw. Those agents, those companies that lost those contracts were hiring, they had employees, office space, and it impacted the economy. So once again, if you haven't seen some of these or felt some of the impact yet, it does not mean you're out of the woods. So we have to prepare. And yes, I'm going to fall on the sword. I'm going to be the bad guy today. I'm not here to be a motivational speaker today. I do want to motivate you to take precaution, but I'm not here today to make you feel good. I want you to feel good after your business succeeds in 2027, and you can go into 28 and say, wow, man, I dodged a bullet. Thank goodness I listened to that guy. Let's give you 10 things right quick on how we can help forego or at least forestall some of these possible negative impacts of what we've seen happening with AI and some of these government cutbacks. this is what I want you to do. Do a stress test of your revenue. So go to your computer, you use AI, Chat GPT or something, and calculate what would happen if your sales declined by 10%, 20%, 30%. And what you'll find, that you may find that your break-even analysis has shifted. Your break-even analysis may have been predicated upon where you are now. And when you go below 10, 20% of where you are now, you realize that you are below your break-even point. In other words, that means you're going to stop making money. And it may take a while for you to realize it. So stress test. Identify what your break-even point is and what impact it would have when you fall below that. So don't simply ask, will I survive? What do you need to protect? What are the vital services that you need to protect at each level to keep the business going? Well, you drop 10%, maybe you don't buy a new printer. Maybe you don't get a new truck. Maybe your office, you don't have to upgrade or get that bigger lease you were anticipating. But when you maybe hit 20%, you realize you have to start cutting employees. Hit 30%, you realize you have to start downsizing. So do this stress test. That's number one. Another thing I want you to do is start looking at the warnings before the revenue starts to fall. Like I said, there's usually a lag time in business. You don't lose a big account today and you're out of business tomorrow. Sometimes it may be 6 months before you feel the true impact, particularly if you have a nice cash flow in reserve. So you start looking at things that are happening now that may predict that there's trouble on the horizon. We learned an acronym in the social media space or digital space called KPIs, Key Performance Indicators. You don't determine the success of an ad by waiting till the end of it and the sales go up or the phone start ringing. You start looking at indicators. Things like how many people viewed the ad, how many people downloaded the content, how many people shared it, how many people put comments in, and so forth. Well, you can do similar things looking at your business. Look at these business KPIs. Are fewer people calling? Is there less traffic to your website? You're sending out proposals and you're getting a low acceptance rate. Customers that used to say, hey, sure, Gatewood, let's do this, but they're taking longer now. They got to run it through more meetings and decision makers. Or the contracts smaller. They said, well, last year we received 10,000 on that contract. This year they cut it down to 3,500. But you can live a long time off that big contract, and so by the time the small contract gets in place, it may be another 3, 4, 6 months before you feel the impact. People are not renewing as fast, and you're starting to see late payments. These are warning signs that all is not well. So pay attention to those things, and when you start seeing that happen, start making some decisions and adjustments, because things are going to be different. I've talked about this on several occasions, but don't get too reliant on one supplier or one customer or one contract. So if you've been doing mostly government contracts, start spreading and expanding into private sector. If you've been doing mostly law firms, start looking at maybe now start working with accounting firms. If you've been doing direct to consumer market, maybe you might start going through resellers and consignment shops. Looking at your subcontract relationships. So you have this big company that's been paying most of the bills. You all go out and play golf and go to each other's kids' graduation. Well, they're under stress too. You can't take it personal, but one day that phone might ring and say, hey, look, man, it's been nice, but we just lost a big contract too. So you want to spread your revenue sources around. Also, speaking of that big customer, you have to do more to protect those customers that you have. So before chasing strangers down the street trying to arm wrestle them to become a client, look at the clients that you already have and what are you doing to maintain them. Their needs are changing. They have AI. They have challenges. So protect the customers that you have. Find out what their problems are and start being proactive before they start slashing the budget. What can you do to enhance the value of that relationship? Like if you don't wait till that phone rings and you sitting there, hey, look, man, I've known you for 30 years. You can't cut me out. Yes, they can. Because there's probably something that you can do to help them so they don't have to call you with the hatchet. So start getting on their schedule, setting up regular meetings. I mean, don't be a pest, but let them know that you're on the team. You understand what they're going through. You have solutions, and mean it. Here's an important one also. You've seen this trend, but you need to get on this bandwagon too, and that's recurring revenue. I've said this on many occasions, I'll say it again. One-off sales are a dead-end street, and if that's your business model, you need to go back to the drawing board. That doesn't work in 2026. You need recurring revenue. Get people on some type of plan, some type of subscription, some type of automatic renew. So things like monthly retainers, stop trying to get all your money in one big chunk. And that's attractive on that payday. But if they may give you $5,000 in August and not pay you again for the rest of the year, it's better to get them on a $1,000 a month. And that's going to equal $12,000. You won't get it all at once, but it helps them budget better, keep that revenue coming in, something you can predict and count on. Service plans, you put something out there, it's going to break down at some point, whether it's a service or a product. If you create somebody's website, websites break. They get hacked. They get all kind of problems. Software updates. So get them on some type of plan, maintenance plan. Offer training programs, ongoing support packages, consultations, but keep some recurring revenue coming in. This big payday, as nice as it may sound, it's a fool's gold, I'm telling you. If that's your model, get the recurring revenue coming in. We're talking about things we can do to avoid this possibility that your sales might drop in 2027 due to the impact of artificial intelligence and many of the government programs that have been reduced that assist small businesses. I'm going to keep going here. Here's another one. Repackage or repurpose some of the service that you offer. Go back and look at other problems that they may solve. Okay? Because one of the foundational aspects of marketing is to find a problem and solve it. Now, if you're a business owner, you can't go out here and create a problem every time create a new product every time a new problem pops up. But what you may discover is that the services and products that you already offer may address problems that were not part of your initial marketing strategy. Okay, I'll go back to the web example. Somebody may have hired you to build their website because They wanted more exposure. They want an automatic dispenser of information. But they also may find out later on now that there's this, we just talked about this 116 companies that are worried about cyber attacks. So now you may focus less on content and customer acquisition. You may focus on security. Go back to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And look at that bottom level of the basic food, shelter, and so forth. Then you go up the ladder to security. Then you go up to esteem. You go to belonging and self-actualization. You look at these problems, you'll be surprised when you sit down, put a pencil to it, that your service handles more problems than you initially launched it to handle. Let's talk about AI. Once again, AI is, I'm not saying AI is the bad guy, but it can be, it can disrupt your flow, your money flow. So let's turn it into our favor. Use it responsibly. Don't let it replace your value. Use it to protect your margins, to make you more efficient, to expand. But don't let it replace the value of what you offer. Keep the human oversight in place. Let it help you reduce waste, inefficiencies, but definitely don't let it weaken your brand. Your brand now is more important than it's ever been before. And you can damage that brand by an over-reliance on AI in areas where it shouldn't be. Yeah, use it. You must. To be more efficient and effective and to scale. But don't let it replace your identity, because now you're just like everybody else, because everybody else has AI too, in case you hadn't noticed. I want you to go back and look at your audience again and your sales channels. Make sure your website is tight. I know during the old days, you were so good that people didn't care what your website looked like. But what I've discovered now is that people are running things through committees and algorithms now. So it was good enough when you first started. It may not be good enough now. Just had a meeting last week. This big CPA firm, the international CPA firm, came to my office. And they're saying things have dropped. Things are off. And the thing they looked at, our website hasn't been updated since the first Bush was in the White House. And maybe that worked for many years because people trusted them and they liked them. But now you have a younger group of people in these corporate CEO spots. They're tech savvy. We're dealing with algorithms now, bots. So you got to go back and look at your sales channels. Look at your email database. Look at your referral network. Look at your content. Okay, wrapping up here, we're talking about things that we can do to minimize possible damage of the impact of AI and government cutbacks, particularly on small businesses. And the theme of the show is, will you see a drop in sales in 2027? I'm saying there's a very strong likelihood that you will. And I'm saying that we can do something about it to minimize it or cause it not to happen at all. But you can't just sit here and say business as usual. These are different times. Your business plan that you wrote 5-10 years ago will not stand up to the challenges that we have today. I'm just telling you. Here's another one. Look at your cash flow. Income is good, but cash flow is king. or queen, however you want to look at it. Get deposits when appropriate. Man, let me tell you, I'll give people a 10-20% discount to pay me the entire amount up front. Because I'm going to tell you what happens a lot of times. The people that started off the project, they done got fired. And that new team moves in, they cancel the contract. So if I get the cash, I would take less. You give it all to me up front. I can take that cash flow and work with it. But definitely get deposits. Go back and look at some of these receivables that are outstanding. Get that money in the door. Like I say, sometimes you have to make a deal. Say, look, I know I've been chasing you for this $2,000 for a year now. Go ahead and let's do a deal. Give me $1,500, and let's keep moving. Look at your phone, your apps, your computers for those unused subscriptions. I just did this the other day. Man, I said, what the heck is this? I put one of those apps on your phone that can go through and find out what subscription you have. I tell you, I couldn't name. I mean, eventually after I did a little research, I found out what it was, but I'm like, what's Use AI? What is that? Well, I found out that was Claude. Something else was on there I couldn't describe. I didn't know what it was because the names on those subscriptions don't always match the product. Now, don't be canceling something that's keeping your business afloat. Make sure you understand what you're canceling. If you can renegotiate vendor agreements, do that. Believe me, they'd rather keep you coming. If you're paying them $1,000 a month, they'd rather take $750 than not receive anything at all. Go back, negotiate, look at your pricing and your profits. This is not an invitation or suggestion to go back and start reducing your prices. Sometimes the opposite is the right course. Because people start saying, okay, the value is there. This is a good company. They have good value. The price is a little higher, but I'm not going to be throwing my money away to some cheap company when they don't know what they're doing. Okay. And this one I'm going to close on. Let's look at going to 27 with a plan B. Okay, plan A is everything goes well. Sunshine, blue skies, blueberries chirping, la da 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 da. That's what they teach us in school. And that's what many of these motivational people out here tell you to do. Stand on the chairs and chant your way into success. I mean, that might make you sleep at night, but when you wake up, you got to deal with the real world. So have your good feeling plan over there if you must, but go ahead and put yourself a plan B in place. It's called a contingency plan. Like I said in the beginning, let's do the stress test. What if my sales were off by 10%? What if they're off by 20%? What if they're off by 50%? And that can happen. That can really happen. I'm not being hypothetical. This is not hyperbole. Test it. Put it in writing. And thank goodness, here's another place where you can use AI. Pump those numbers in AI. You can do that today. Take one of your financial statements, pop it into AI, and say, what if I reduce my revenue by 20%? Where is my new break even? You might realize, well, shoot, I can only hire 3 people if I reduce this by 20%. So that's what you need to find out. And then you have that person that might be the one to go. You have them on the short lease. All right, Keisha, you got to watch out. Tavon, you dropped by 20%. I hate to say it, but I might have to show you the door. All right. I want to thank you for tuning in today. I'm Robert Gatewood. This is our We talked today about what might happen if your sales dropped off by 20, 30, 40%. I'm not saying go out here and do something crazy or be laying down tonight staring at the ceiling saying, Gatewood done scared the bejeebus out of me. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying let's be smart. We're business owners. We didn't make it this long by being short-sighted. I'm just telling you, if you probably already seen it, these are not the same times we're living in. It's rough out here on a small business, but we can do it. That's where the positive part comes in. If we listen, be proactive, take steps, protect this business that we worked so hard to create. It has legacy potential. I want you to pay attention to this ad that we created called where the young man goes out here, he's looking for a job, comes home, dad says, son, how's the job search? He says, nobody's hiring. At least they're not hiring me. And dad looks at the son and says, why don't you come work for me? And let me tell you, there is nothing better. There's no feeling better than that. Not for just the dad, but for the son. Now, everybody can't go out here and start a business. I'm not going to be real here. Some people they don't want to do it. They're not built for it. Some are more investors or some other type of thing. But everybody's not. I'm not going to say everybody should start a business. If you can, if you have the skills and know-how, I think it's a game changer. And it is generational. So if you are a business owner and you started a business, protect it. Let's take some steps to protect that business so that it becomes part of your legacy. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm Robert Gatewood. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. Yes, we're tired of having to go to other communities to hire our kids, to put ourselves to work. We have to do this ourselves. And the best way to do that is to build successful businesses. And the pathway to that is through smart, strong, well thought out marketing and planning. And that's what we try to help with every Friday right here on the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I'll be back next week. And as I say every week, if you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing, do it at the right time, and you must do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.
Hey, how'd the job search go?
Nobody's hiring. At least not me.
Then why don't you come work for me?
Really, Dad? You can hire me?
That's what business ownership is all about.
Since the layoff, I've applied for almost 100 jobs. Not one interview. You are so talented and have so much experience. Maybe it's time to stop job hunting and start your own business. A business? Where do I start?